How's everybody doing? That's a good day. Thank you very much for braving the cold weather, for thinking Rockies baseball here in January. I want to say, before we get going, I want to say this. I'm really privileged to get to go around all these ballparks and watch the best players in the world play. One of the things that is a constant theme, and I guarantee you Michael Lorenzen, who's one of the newest Rockies, who's been a big leaguer for a long time, played in a number of cities, will tell you this. This is a great, and I know it's been tough the last few years, but this is a great baseball city, it's a great sports town, as you all know. Go Broncos tomorrow. But every time, even amidst the tough times of late, you look out from my vantage point, from where they all sit in the dugout, there's 35,000 people out there, and they're wearing purple, and they're excited when these guys do well, and I know I speak for all these guys. Thank you. With that, we're going to talk about the most important element of the sport, and that hasn't changed in 150 years, and that's pitching. I think you know all these guys, but Chase Dollander, Kyle Freeland is 48, he's pitching his 28th season now with the Rockies. Michael Lorenzen, who I just referenced, Victor Vodnik, and Jaden Hill, who just got here. Jaden, by the way, I thought, he was just doing the Family Feud, I thought Grumpy was going to be a winner, right? Yeah, because it was, what is it, an older guy having common with a baby? They could be Grumpy.
Yeah. Still on the plane right here?
Yeah. Thank you. I thought it was a great answer, but it got it. So, anyhow, let's get rolling. Chase, what have you been doing in the offseason? How do you prepare?
Yeah, I mean, my offseason is, I feel like pretty typical to everything else. I don't like to take too much time off. I take probably 3 weeks at the end of the season off. Last year was the ski, and then I had an end season. I got to take a little bit more time off. So for me, it was a little bit of a slower ramp up. I'm throwing little things, everything like that, working on command, making sure my lower body's working the way it needs to, and all that kind of stuff. But for the most part, it's just been, same as every other offseason, but I'm just really hammering out what we've done this year.
Kyle, I think it's a great thing for the audience, and a lot of changes. Truly, you have been here 20 years. You've been here a long time, you grew up here. A lot of changes, not only in the front office, but specific to what you all do on the pitching side. Your reaction?
Yeah, no, it's very cool, for me, for being here for, this is going to be my 10th big league season, which is kind of crazy for me to say. Seeing the change that we've had, and especially this offseason with, bringing in new pieces in the front office, new coaching staff for the most part, signing guys like Lorenzen, like McCarthy, bringing the good quality right people in to get us going in the direction that we want to be going in, and everything seems so exciting right now. We're excited as a team, our front office is excited, the coaches. I hope you guys are very excited for what's to come moving forward for the Rockies. I know we're a couple weeks away from camp, but we're already having some great discussions as a team with our coaches of how we want to attack this and what we're going to be doing moving forward.
I want to skip Michael. I'm going to come back to you in 1 second, but I want you guys also, Jaden and Victor, if you guys can sound off a little bit on some of the changes and get to know new coaches. Go ahead, Jaden. Go first.
For me, I would say, just being open to all new ideas. I'm still young. I'm still learning a lot, especially pitching here in Denver. I've had multiple conversations with our new coaching staff, and the things that I've learned already, just from quick conversations with them has been huge for me. Attacking all seasons differently. Just trying to make sure that, when my name is called, I'm trained, into the season, and I'm ready to go 100% healthy. And I'm willing to adapt to a new coaching staff, a new direction, and just be willing to work with what comes with it.
Victor, how about you?
Yeah, no, I feel like the new coaching staff has been very transparent, and they know what they're doing, and they did a good job with me, talking to me, telling me what they want to see from me, and how maybe better as a player. I think the organization is on the right path for sure, and that's been great for us.
Michael, you had a lot of success in the game, you've been a lot of places. Normally, pitchers don't come running to Coors Field and altitude and in the Rockies. One of the challenges, I think all your big fans know. Why Colorado?
I've always loved coming here as a visiting player, like you referenced earlier, with the fans. They're constantly here. I remember I was just so surprised by the stadium being full every time I'm here that I had to look up like the attendance, and it's like always top 8 every season, which is incredible. So that's exciting to be able to come to a place like Colorado. You're going to play in front of a lot of fans, passionate fans, but also it's just the untapped of the side of pitching, of how to handle that, problem solving. That's one thing I do love. I love problem solving. And growing as a pitcher, and I've grown as a pitcher by failing, and then I'm able to learn and figure out, okay, what adjustments do I need to make? How do I make those adjustments? Do they work? And so I feel like that's why I've been able to stick around for as long as I have, and Colorado just seems untapped in that area. So, I'm going to fail a little bit, but we have a good coaching staff, and the coaching staff that has been brought in, the front office that's been brought in to hopefully make that learning curve, a lot shorter than normal.
One of the things I'm fascinated about is you all hear about analytics all the time, and analytics is really a huge part of the game, offensively, defensively, certainly from a pitching metric standpoint. So individually, you go right down the line. When you look at the various numbers that you can look at pertaining to having to grow, what is most important to you? Pass it on the time.
Yeah, for me personally, I'm what they consider a low slot. So I have a lower arm slot than those guys. It's called vertical approach. We get too much but for me, it's just making sure that guys kind of stay the same, making sure that, like I said, it's mainly for me. It's just command, like working on command, making sure I'm in the zone. We can go into a lot of deep dive about pitch analytics and things like that, but for me, this year it's going to be focused on 0-1, 0-2, and 1-2, and making sure I'm getting there as quick as I can. Great.
Yeah, one thing that I like to look at, I'm a very visual learner, so I like to look at a lot of video of guys that I have faced, the amount of times that I've faced them, and look at the numbers that I have against them. One key thing that I always look at is if I've made that hitter uncomfortable in any fashion, whether that's with off speed or with the fastball. And I know that if I'm able to make a hitter uncomfortable in a box whenever I want, I'm going to be able to swing the advantage to my side and be able to pitch a little bit more freely. So that's one part of not really analytics, but it slightly is just having that feel of I know how to make a certain hitter uncomfortable in a box with a fastball up and a tight cutter, something like that, and I can use that to my advantage.
Yeah, for me, I love the analytics I love all the numbers and all that stuff, but there's also a blend of playing the game of baseball and just being a baseball player as well. And, how you get in at bat, the analytics will prove that throwing more strikes early on is going to put you in more success, or give you more success, but also being able to finish hitters. Having not just good command early on, but good two-strike command. I think that's how you finish hitters. From the beginning of time, before analytics was hitting a back foot slider to a lefty, is going to swing this pitch with 2 strikes. So stuff like that, change up under the zone with 2 strikes is going to swing in this pitch. A 4-seam just above the zone is going to swing in this pitch. Before analytics was a thing. So I think for me, it's executing those and being elite at executing the 2-strike pitches to be able to put hitters away. And you can still strike guys out. You can strike them out in 3 or 4 pitches if you're able to execute 2 strikes.
Right? Yeah, I think the pitching staff, coaches there, and then really pushing me to just go strikes and get after as far as analytics. Analytics is a tool to use to get better. And so for me, since I was middle fastball, middle up, that for me plays well. Maybe it's like it's a dugout, right? I'll go back and go down, that which will show actually this guy's stuff crazy. That's what we're going to throw. And so it's just cast your changes. We didn't go that far. So I think it's going to be a really, fun tool to have and to work with, and just really exciting.
I would say for me, it's trying to find consistency from being at home versus on the road. You know, the numbers are going to change for sure, but there's still going to be some consistency. There's going to be bigger or smaller. And so being able to have that, you know, it takes a lot of mental stress off of you. If you're able to feel that consistency and have the numbers to back it up of what you're feeling, then I believe that's going to give me, you know, a lot of advantage there, so I don't have to have a completely different mindset when we come home versus when we're on the road for 9 days. You know, everything is the same, and then we know that those analytics are back in there, and I can just continue to build based off of what the coach is saying.
Again, question I think applies to all of you. Three of you guys are still young in the game, not just you guys are ancient, but who have you leaned on the most or learned the most from teammate-wise so far? And maybe it goes back to, you know, the minor league, maybe it goes back to Tennessee.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's kind of sitting next to me. He's a pretty good person to talk to. You know, we've had a bunch of conversations in the dugout, you know, in between games, just saying, hey, like, what do you got on this? What do you got on that? He's been here for a while. He knows what he's doing. So it's a really good guy to kind of bounce ideas off of. And obviously, he's had a good success here. So I'm just looking forward to continuing that.
Three?
Thanks, Jason. You know, for me, you know, when I was a young guy, it was a little bit different. I didn't really gravitate towards any like one pitcher. I actually gravitated and was taken under the wing of Ian Desmond. Still lean on him for a lot of things in life and in baseball. He's an intelligent human being who took me under his wing and taught me the ropes of how to be a big leaguer the right way and how to go about my business the right way. And you know, in turn, that's, you know, what I'm trying to help do with Chase and these other young guys in the clubhouse that we have is teach them to do it the right way. And success will follow that.
Michael, how about you?
Yeah, I've had a lot of good teammates, a lot of good veteran teammates. You know, one of the guys that kind of helped me understand, I guess, we just got into the analytics stuff, opened my eyes to that was, he's in the front office now at the Angels. His name is Jared Hughes, who's really in Pittsburgh for a long time, and I played with him in Cincinnati. But, you know, a teammate like him just taking me under his wing and coming over to my hotel room in Chicago, and we're on the computer, he's breaking stuff down and teaching me how to decipher different numbers and what to look at, what's best to look at, his routine, things like that. That kind of opened my eyes to what a good teammate is, what being a good veteran leader is. It's, you know, being willing to share the information that you've accumulated throughout the years, and you know, not being too good for anybody. Doesn't matter how young they are, how much experience they have, but treating everyone the same.
I'll change it up a little bit with you and Jaden, Victor, and that is, there's a lot of young guys, not only in the clubhouse, but especially in Penn specifically. Grandpa left, TK's now in Atlanta, who's the absolute best, Tyler Kinley. But how much you guys lean on each other, because you're all growing together at the beginning level?
Honestly, that's what my answer is going to be. Just a lot of the daily conversations as a staff. You know, you learn a lot through that, just the daily stuff as well as going through a similar path. And so being able to lean on each other, you know, some guys have success, some guys fail, having a conversation, trying to find a middle ground that can help one another has been tremendous help for me personally. You know, it's been nice. And then also as a vet guy, you know, especially when Senator came to the bullpen, I got to talk to him more. And he was the guy who took me out with me 2 or 3 years ago. And now being able to have continuous conversations with him every single day is awesome person, awesome vet. And he really helps me remember his week and that aspect. For sure, the younger aspect.
How would you respond, Dave?
Yeah, same thing. TK, actually, he's the guy that kind of took me under his wing. You know, with any questions that I have, and I was struggling with my slider, especially, TK doesn't have a slider. So like, I'll go to him for that, and he gives some cool tips that, that I still use to this day, and maybe better pull it, and just having conversations and wish those guys to move them. We're all like Jaden said, we're all on a similar path, and so, knowing that we all have similar struggles, but we're all here to help each other and get better as a team. And nobody's withholding any information, with a certain pace or certain rigor resulting to everything. So yeah, it's awesome to have somebody like that in the bullpen, especially now that we have Senator Lorenzen too.
We as broadcasters often regurgitate what we hear from you guys play the game. And one of the pitching words, adjectives that's used quite a bit is shape now. We've heard about velocity forever. A lot of these guys throw harder than, ever before. Guys throw 100 plus miles an hour. When you talk about pitching shape, is that more important to you? I mean, you're not an overpowering guy in the big league stand. Is that more important to you when we talk about shape and location as opposed to maybe sheer velocity?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of one and the same, but also separated. For me, like shaping my pitch is also kind of goes into sequencing. What is the hitter going to be seeing coming out of my hands, and how can I create as much deception as possible with the shapes of my pitches, with arm action, with my delivery mechanics, everything that goes that all encompasses into one thing. That's trying to execute one single pitch and do that 100 plus times. So shapes to me is something that we're going to work on in the bullpen. We're going to work on it in a lab setting where we can really get a deep dive into a detailed look at what we're actually looking at and why we're looking at it and why we're seeing it like that.
You throw very hard. You always throw hard. I mean, is that what hurts you? It's great thing to have, but you can't necessarily lean on it because when you get to the big league, you learn guys will turn 99 around in the middle of the play. These are the best hitters in the world. So, what did you learn that big voyage?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a combination of a lot of things. It's making sure you're putting pitches in the right spot. It's making sure you're reading the swings that they're putting off early or late. Making sure that you're not just riding a guy by a scouting report because the moment you step on that field, it's scouting report can almost just go out the window. So it's just making sure that, like you said, I throw hard, so it's like my shapes are going to be huge because the ball doesn't have enough time to make a huge shape. So it's making sure that they're sequencing and they're timing, like you said, just right off of each other. It's right up to the last second where the hitter has to decide whether he's going to hit or not, making sure that they kind of change depending on the different whatever.
Michael, specific to you because as you guys will learn as fans, Michael Lorenzen, and I said it's not to embarrass you, but you're one of the strongest guys in baseball, and your fitness level has always been really important. You have videos out there, that sort of thing. What would you try to impart from a preparation standpoint? Now that you've been at this craft for a long time, to your routine?
Yeah, a daily routine is a must-have. I feel like as these guys, as we start to work together, they can show up to the field and they're going to know exactly where they would find me at this time because I'm going to do my routine all the time. I feel like everyone having a consistent routine to where their body feels consistently the same before they pick up the baseball every single time. It's just, the discipline of having that, allows you to, as you do grow hard, as you get older, you kind of match the experience with stuff, and then that's where you kind of have your peak, and that's where in this game you can do some fun things. So the better off you are taking care of yourself early on, the more it'll pay dividends in the future. But like when I was young, I didn't have to do all those things to feel good. But I knew that if I do this now, it's going to set my body up in the future to play this game for a lot longer than a lot of people usually do.
You guys have a lot of time being short guys, sprinters I call them. Jaden, I know you used to be a starter. Vic, I'm sure you were a starter as well. When you're down in that bullpen, how often are you talking about grips and messing around with, hey, how do you get that 2C movement? How do you throw your slider? How do you grip it? Are those constant conversations?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's almost a daily thing. And so yeah, I mean, we're just trying to get better, Like I said, like with TK, if he had a nasty slider, I need to work on my slider. I was like, let me go to the guy that has a nasty slider, see if he can take his brain, see what if he has any tips for me, so that I can become a better player. And so, and not only that, using that information and passing on to another guy who might be not comfortable to TK because maybe he's the older guy, he's not comfortable with him, so he comes to me instead. I'm like, hey, let's try this, and I know you can TK, right? So like just passing that information over to make us better. I think, yeah, it's great, and we all talk about that, and almost I want to say like a daily thing, as I do.
Jay, same thing?
Yeah, it's definitely a daily conversation of trying to steal what someone else has had. because there's a lot of guys on our staff that has really, really good stuff. And so just having a conversation, you never know what might come out of that conversation. It may be something that can completely change your career around. Maybe something that you don't even, goes in one ear and out the other. But having information is important. You can't learn, you can't continue to be who you are, have success, fail without information. So it's definitely a daily thing that we all try to talk about. I'm sure every pitch that I throw now, I've probably taken from someone at some point. And without that person, without that one conversation that maybe lasted 3 minutes, helped me get to where I am today. So it's for sure.
This is an overall question, because we got to let these folks get running. But we talked about the vast number of changes in the front office and coaching staff and collectively starting to turn this thing around. What will, and I'll let you, Kyle, as kind of the senior member of you, articulate this. What in your mind, as you present this to fans, will show the fans that, hey, we are on the right path. We are getting better.
Yeah, honestly, if you guys come down to camp, you're probably going to see it. Things are moving in a complete different direction. The conversations that we've been having, the stuff that we're putting together, our outlines for moving this thing forward are very, very exciting. And you're going to see it from day one at camp. I know Shake is going to shake things up in camp, and it's going to be different spring training than I'm used to. Some of these guys are used to, and this organization's used to. So it's one of those things that. It's super exciting. It's kind of a breath of fresh air. That the new regime, new things are coming. It's very exciting. I can't wait to get to work down in Arizona with everyone down there.
Jaden, Lane Kiffin. Great move, right? Yeah. Good work. Good deal. Hey, folks, thank you very, very much. We appreciate it. Hey, real quick. This group in front, David, my new friend over there, drove in yesterday. They originally lived in Colorado. They drove in Fort Smith, Arkansas, because they never missed a fan fest. Don't fly home today. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon, everyone.